Well, it's now official. Dollywood just announced their star attraction Lightning Rod will be closing on October 30th, 2023 for a massive change to the launch system. Lightning Rod was constructed by Rocky Mountain Construction and officially opened to the public on June 13th of 2016. It was scheduled to open at the beginning of that season, but problems with the prototype LSM launch needed to be ironed out. An issue that would ultimately plague this iconic ride for the past 7 years, making it one of the most undependable coasters in the industry, something Dollywood has seen as unacceptable. That's apparent from all the changes and investments the park's made over the past 7 years in an attempt to get Lightning Rod running at a more dependable rate. Of those changes, the most noticeable started with the launch up the mountain being shortened and slowed down. In later years, we saw the trains themselves go through many changes, from that iconic hot rod design to a much simpler, lightweight design, and at times, nothing at all. No matter what was done, nothing seemed to help. That prototype launch year after year was plagued with issues and downtime. And while this hasn't been officially confirmed to be the issue, I've always heard that an LSM launch requires much tighter clearances during that particular section of launch track for the magnets to work properly, which leads us to the most massive overhaul Lightning Rod received in 2021. Dollywood replaced over half the coaster's wooden topper track with steel I-box track that's found on most of the RMCs that have been built. And while I agree that this change was indeed made to help make the ride smoother and more enjoyable, there was definitely more to it than just that, as they also converted the launch to steel I-box track. Because this particular section of the coaster was never rough or in need of smoothing out. I'm not certain this was the issue, but I'd imagine just about everyone was convinced the new steel I-box track installed up the lift would allow for tighter clearance and less vibration, allowing the LSMs to propel you up the mountain with more uptime. This ultimately would not fix all of Lightning Rod's issues, and the downtime would continue for the next 2 seasons. Which leads us to today's official release from the park. Lightning Rod will close for the season on October 30th, so we can replace its existing launch system with a high-speed chain lift. This change will give even more of you an opportunity to ride it. We know it's been frustrating to see it temporarily close so often. What once was the sounds of a hot rod revving its engine and spinning tires up that mountain with one of the most exciting launches in the world will now be replaced with a more traditional chain lift system like we already see on so many coasters today. Without question, taking away so much of the excitement and punch that made Lightning Rod, well, Lightning Rod. It's no secret I've always adored this attraction, as it's been ranked as my second favorite coaster for the past several years now. The layout itself may not be as strong as, let's say, Iron Gwazi, but the launch is what ultimately kept it so high in my rankings. There's just nothing out there quite like it, so losing that is without a doubt a major blow. With all that being said, I was thrilled to hear the news. Look, like I stated earlier, the large amounts of downtime with Lightning Rod have always been unacceptable to Dollywood. And for years they've put an incredible effort into improving that. But it was apparent in 2021, when that new I-box track didn't fix the downtime, that Lightning Rod's future was in serious jeopardy. To me, the experiment seemed all but over, and only 2 options remained. 1, replace that LSM launch with a more traditional lift system that's proven. Or option 2, tear it down and cut your losses. As much as I've loved that launch up the mountain, it certainly hasn't come without major negatives. For starters, I've probably made 10 visits to this park where Lightning Rod was closed for the majority of that day. And even on days that looked promising to run, I would still hold my breath the entire 5-hour drive to Dollywood, wondering if I'd be lucky enough to get a ride. Without question, that extensive downtime over the years has often pushed me to visit different parks instead of Dollywood, simply because I had so many questions surrounding its dependability. If this change allows Lightning Rod to operate daily while also making sure we're able to continue experiencing that incredible wave turn, twist and shout, and famous quad down, then I'm all for it. Dollywood's certainly one of the most impressive parks I've ever been to. They even won the Golden Ticket Award for the best theme park in the world just a few days ago. I love the atmosphere, comfortable chairs, and all the incredible food. The coaster collection is strong, and their newest addition, Big Bear Mountain, has been a massive success. I rode it earlier this year and it was a blast. Not to mention Thunderhead is currently running, in my opinion, the best it ever has, and it deserves way more praise. But even with all this, for me personally, the park never feels complete on days Lightning Rod is closed and has those doors shut. I just couldn't imagine this park without Lightning Rod, launch or no launch.